Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm the Sports Guru 716 and I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Spittin' the Truth. Now, I was caught between two different topics today, but I figured I'd go with the more nerdy topic, I guess, and discuss esports and how, in my opinion, they are here to stay, and it's quite cool to think about. I'm kind of nerdy, but to be honest, I think esports are the new landscape for sports in general. Now, obviously, I love football, I love hockey, I love boxing, I like a lot of different sports. I like almost every sport that is physical. But I think there are also sports that test the mind. And, oh, that's a nerdy thing to say, you know, oh, that's not a sport. How's that a sport? Well, a sport is a competition between multiple people. It's not necessarily an actual physical activity. It can be any activity as long as there's a competition between multiple people playing a game, doing something of the sort. Now, as somebody that has played League of Legends a little bit, like I'm not gonna say I'm nowhere near as good as these guys, but you look at sports and people are like, oh, how can that be like football? How can that be like hockey? How can that be like baseball? You're watching somebody play a game. Well, so are you. You're watching somebody play a game. You're watching a game of football. I'm watching a game of League of Legends. I'm watching a game of Dota, Call of Duty. And the thing is, why I'm going to say esports are here to stay is because almost every household has one of these games. Whether every household there's at least one person playing League of Legends or has Call of Duty or Halo or Counter-Strike Global Offensive or Dota or anything like that, because any game can be considered an esport, because as long as it's a competition, it's an esport. Now everyone's like, how is that a sport? Esports aren't sports. Well, then motorsports aren't sports. Then the X Games, an extreme sport, is not a sport. So if you go and want to say esports aren't a sport, you are also saying the X Games aren't sports, and you're also saying motorsports aren't sports, which is inaccurate. Is it a regular sport? No, that's why it's called an esport. But they're here to stay because every single household in the United States has access to one of these games that wants to have access to it. If you want to play League of Legends, it's an hour download, not even for some people, and you can play League of Legends. If you want to play Call of Duty and you have a PlayStation or a computer or an Xbox or whatever, you can get Call of Duty in an hour, not even. You can just pop a disc in your console or in your computer and you can play Call of Duty. You can play these games. And then they're like, oh, well, if you're watching these games, how is that fun? Why are you watching somebody play Call of Duty? I want to get better. Do you play Call of Duty to suck? Why play if you want to suck? I want to play and be good. So I'm going to watch somebody play Call of Duty so I can get better. So I can see what they do and want to do what they do. Kind of like when you watch a game of baseball and you see somebody pitching the ball. You see the pitcher and he throws a curveball and you're like, I'm going to watch how he throws a curveball to see if I can throw a curveball like that. So I can learn how to try and do that. Like, I play League on occasion and I want to be as good as the people on, TV, but I'm not gonna anytime soon, obviously. But it is as intricate as a game of baseball. It tests your mind, not your physical abilities, but it tests your mind equally compared to that of somebody doing a physical activity. And if you don't think so, try and do it and try and win. Comment down below if you've played one of these games and you can play one of these games at the level that you see on the internet, on TV. If you can play one of these games that are considered esports as well as them, comment down below. Post a gameplay. I bet you don't have something that compares to them. Now, oh, well, they're super nerds. Well, mind over brawn. Like, you can be as strong as you want, but when you're 60 years old, you're not going to be as strong as you once were, but your mind is going to be there. You're going to know just as much as you did, barring a disease of some sort. So it's wrong to say that esports aren't sports, and they're going to stay. You see it over in Asia, in South Korea. More people watch League and Dota and StarCraft than anything else. They are considered athletes in South Korea. They are considered athletes in the Asian countries. And it's only a matter of time in North America for this to happen here as well. You see these guys on YouTube, the Optic guys, the FaZe guys, and all this. They have millions of people subscribed to know when they're playing, what they're doing in their free time, and things like that. Just as much as any athlete. You see some of them with their Twitter followers, and they have almost as many followers on Twitter as anybody else, any athlete does. Sure, there's LeBron James. But there's a guy with like 5 million subscribers on YouTube. 5 million people constantly want to know what this guy is doing. And that's the people that are subscribed, not even the people that are like, oh, I'm going to watch him just to see this and see how I feel about it. These people are considered athletes in their own subgenre of sports. Just like a race car driver is in their subsection. Just like a skateboarder is or a surfer is in their subsection. You look at the X Games and they have Halo in the X Games. They have Call of Duty in the X Games. These other sports, these subgenres accept each other. It's just a matter of the big, majority of people accepting that these are sports. Just because it's not the kind of sport that you grew up with and that you like doesn't mean it's not a sport. That's like saying, oh, bowling or golf or whatever isn't a sport. It's a sport. I don't like them. I'll talk about it if I have to talk about it, but I don't like golf. I don't like bowling. I don't like tennis. But the fact of the matter is this. Those are sports. I'm not going to take anything away from them. Those are sports. So it's a matter of whether or not people are willing to be open-minded enough to accept it. And in this country, I think eventually here, it will be here to stay. You have 300,000 people watching North American LCS every weekend. 300,000. ESPN finally embraced it in the Americas, and they have an esports subsection on their webpage, and I'm sure it's getting hits. A few years ago, I forget if it was Dota or League, but the fans of League or Dota, whose World Championships, there were more of them watching those championships than the NBA Finals in 2014. Think about that. The NBA Finals in 2014 had less viewership than that of the World Championships of an esport. And you're telling me esports aren't going to be here to stay? That esports aren't for real? Esports are real, and they're not going to, go quietly. They're just going to increase. As you see some of these sports that are very dangerous start getting less and less participants, and you look and you say to yourself, oh, well, that's not a physical activity. That's not helping them. Well, you're right. You're right. There's no physical activity in an esport. With the Oculus Rift, who knows? Eventually, maybe I'll have virtual gaming here to a degree where you have a virtual esport, but that's something for a whole nother video and a whole nother hypothesis. But you look at this and you say to yourself, these people are testing their mind just as much as somebody else tests their body. And I was watching an interview, and one of the League guys were like, yeah, we go to the gym a couple times a week when we're not practicing. And a lot of these guys do. They go to the gym. And you think to yourself, no way, they're nerds. They're not going to the gym. No, they go to the gym. A lot of them go to the gym. Go on twitch.tv and start watching people. And a lot of people will be like, yeah, I go to the gym. Or yeah, I do this. Or yeah, I do that. And it's because these people realize, they're smart enough. There's no idiots playing these games because they are. So many of these people need to memorize so many different things to be able to succeed in these games that they are smart enough to understand, hey, I have to work out a few times a week to succeed and to be healthy in my life. Where, you have people in these sports that are idiots, and, you've got people in football, you've got people in baseball, you've got people in hockey that just aren't very smart, and they throw away their careers. And you see in a game like League or a game like Call of Duty or something like that where people retire, but they retire with money. Sure, the money isn't as much, but their money is there. And it's a matter of being good at what you do, and if you're good at what you do, you will succeed. And I think esports will succeed in North America because North America is open to the idea of a subgenre of sports. like X Games, like motorsports. And it's just a matter of time before you start seeing esports on a more national scale. You see in colleges, there's college series League of Legends. And you look at all the League of Legends tournaments, you've got them in North America, Europe, China, Japan, Taiwan, Korea, all these places. It's all around the world. Millions of people are watching. And it's just a matter of time before people start to realize this is for real. This is not going to slow down. You better hop on the wagon now because it is going to be a great ride. And frankly, I'm excited for it. I don't think a lot of people are, because a lot of people are going to look at this video and be like, wow, what a nerd. But I'll tell you right now, this is really cool to watch. You're seeing a revolution in sports, in that you're seeing a change and a mutation that is going to be quite interesting, and a lot of people aren't going to like it, but it's probably best for everybody that this happens, and I think it's just going to be really interesting. So, thank you for watching.